Hey everyone, my name is Hugo. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been a while that I didn't upload. Today's video is going to be about PS1 games. It's not necessarily going to be my favorite PlayStation 1 games or objectively the best PS1 games. It's just going to be the 10 PlayStation 1 games that I probably spend the most amount of time in. The list is not in order. It's not that number one is going to be the one that I spend most time in. I don't actually have actual numbers. I just remember spending a lot of time in this. Um, I also think there's going to be a couple ones that not a lot of people talk about, so maybe it's cool to see some games that you hadn't heard of yet. So we're just going to jump in. The first one is Gundam Battle Assault 2. I am not necessarily a big Gundam person, but I just remember playing this with my brothers a lot. It's a 2D fighting game, kind of like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, but then it's with Gundam's mix. And it's really cool. There's a story mode. I don't remember what the story is about. Don't know if it's any good, but I remember the fighting being pretty solid, and you just had a fairly big character roster. Um, yeah, it was just a lot of fun to play. It was PlayStation 1 had a lot of 2D fighting games that were really good, but this is I just chose this one. I did spend a lot of time in X-Men Mutants Academy and Tekken, of course, which was like 2.5D, people call it. But yeah, that was the first one. Second one, I have Disney's Toy Story 2, and I have to say that I did play this mostly on our PC. It's only recently that I found a copy on the PlayStation 1. It's like on our Windows 98 or XP or something like that. It was one of the only games we played on there. But I remember just either me playing and then my brother sitting next to me watching, or vice versa. And this is such a good game. I did turn this on to record gameplay footage, and it holds up. Other than the tank controls, which always age like fine milk in a hot summer sun, but yeah, it's such a good game. It's so big too. I remember having so much fun in the Al's toy store and just like exploring that store and then the aisle with all the buses. It's just a really cool game. If you've never played it, um, I do recommend it. If you have PlayStation Premium, you can get the game on your PlayStation 5 to try it, and it works pretty well. Next up is Ready to Rumble. This is a boxing game where you could I think you choose off of a roster, and then you do career mode, and you need to exercise, you need to train to become better, you to up your stats, you need to do practice on reflexes or strength. You could focus on speed or you could focus on strength. And I just remember the fighting mechanics being really solid. There was also a two-player version, two-player mode where you could 1v1 each other, which we did a lot too. But the career mode is actually surprisingly good. I don't usually love like I have no interest in boxing in general. But yeah, this was a really solid game if you're looking for a boxing game.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get ready to rumble!
Also, how's the audio, by the way? I got this mic. It's not anything fancy or anything, but I read a comment that the audio wasn't great, and I do agree with that. It was like a clip-on mic through Bluetooth, so it was a test, and it wasn't great audio. So I hope it's better now. Let me know in the comments. Next up is a game that I don't know if it's actually any good. I still have to record the gameplay footage for this, but it's Dino Monster Party. I just played this so many times with my brothers, and it's just a bunch of mini games. Uh, always like everything against each other. So you could play this with one or two players. I don't think, yeah, if you had to multi-tap, which we didn't do, to connect four controllers to one PlayStation 1 game, you could do four players, but it was always like rotating the controller to whoever won. But I'm gonna record some gameplay for it, and you'll see some of the games. But it was like a meteor or a volcano eruption or something like that, and then the things came on the little field, and you just had to evade them as your little dinosaur, and whoever was last won, and then they got a point in the rank, and it was like a bunch like that, kind of like Mario Party, but without the game board. Um, So yeah, it was really fun. I don't remember if it's actually quality or not, but we did spend a lot of time with it, so it must have been something. Next game, I don't think needs any introduction. It's Spyro the Dragon. I did have all three of them, but I just remember the first one is the one I played by far the most. I don't think I ever really finished it, but we did spend a lot of time trying to beat all the levels, trying to 100% it, getting all the little diamonds. Obviously, Spyro holds up fairly well. If you want to play it, I would suggest the remakes. They're really good, but the old ones even still hold up fairly well. So yeah, Spyro the Dragon, what a game! Next up is a racing games game. It's Vanishing Points. I was thinking either this one or the first Gran Turismo, but Gran Turismo is so well known, so I thought I would throw this one in there. And it has an alpha on the front, which you don't see every day. But it was also like a driving school thing, so they're not necessarily a school, but you there was some tests you could do to like unlock new cars, um, and then obviously also races. And I just remember spending a lot of time with this and Gran Turismo a lot. Um, but I think Gran Turismo we got first, and then we played the hell out of that, and then we found this one, and then we were like, oh my god, it's like a new Gran Turismo because we never played the second one, and yeah, just a lot of time. Next up is Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. As a kid, I was really into Yu-Gi-Oh! I had a lot of cards. I used to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game with my brothers a lot. We watched the anime, and over the years, Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of got saturated, and the game is really weird now, where you can finish in one turn or something. So I kind of gave up there. But I remember getting the PlayStation 1 games and we were really happy. And I remember we had a full DVD box of the first season, so at the Dual Island or whatever it's called. But we never were able to get past that until a couple of years later. So we got this, and the story actually is really good. But this game is so unbelievably hard, especially because the rules don't make any sense. If you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh rules, forget all of them when you get into this game because this game makes zero sense. If you have your couple of cards in your hand, you can choose random characters, like random cards, and they'll fusion, like the polymerization effect, but they in the real game they wouldn't fusion, and also you don't need any polymerization card or any other fusion spell card. So this game made no sense. Over time you kind of learned all the fusions, but you would start out with like a deck with monsters with a maximum of like 300, 400 attack. If you had 1,000 attack monster, that was like considered high. And so like you really depended on these fusions. But the story takes place in with the ancient Egypt kind of lore era of it. Like it jumps back. I think it's like a flashback, and it's like you see all the characters in ancient Egypt with Pharaoh and stuff like that. But yeah, the story really cool. If you went head to head with a monster, you got this little battle animation, which was really cool. And but yeah, it's just unbelievably hard. My brother did finish it not too long ago. He emulated it, and he texted me right away, like, "Oh my god, I finally finished the game!" And I was like, "No way!" But we got up until I think there's like a battle against one of the guards, the pyramid guards or something like that. That was just, I think it's like second to last battle that we were never able to get past. But yeah, it's so fun, even though the rules don't apply to this game, the Yu-Gi-Oh rules. Next up is another Disney game. It's Treasure Planet. I remember watching this movie in theater when I was a kid with my dad and my brothers, really liking the movie, and the hype kind of died down around it right away. Kind of a forgotten Disney movie. Nowadays, a lot of people are talking about it again, so I'm glad people discovered it. Probably thanks to Disney Plus as well. I'm still in the middle of making a video about PlayStation 1 Disney games, and this one definitely was on there. It's a classic PlayStation 1 Disney Collecticon uh, platformer 3D, and there's a version of golden coins that you collect and you get through the story, and there's cutscenes of the movie every now and then. I make it sound like it's dull, but it's really good actually. I was thinking either this one or Aladdin or Emperor the Cusco's Groove game, which is also really good. Um, But yeah, this one's just really good. I remember finishing it. I remember finishing it again and then like just playing it in between too. So yeah, really, really solid game. Then another racing game. We did play a lot of racing games on the PlayStation 1. It's V Rally. I think they're still making V Rally games, but I just remember the first one. We were blown away by the graphics, um, and mostly because Gran Turismo had great graphics too on the PlayStation 1, but that was like roads and concrete and racing tracks and stuff like that. But this was like trees and mud and sliding effects drifting through it. The career mode was really good. The 1v1 with like the split screen was really good. Which now I don't remember. Did Gran Turismo 1 had that? Probably. I'm unsure, but I remember playing this. I remember playing Gran Turismo a lot on my own, but V Rally I played a lot with my brothers, and also on my own, just a career mode. And yeah, I got really into Rally after playing this game. But yeah, a really solid game. If you see it, I don't think this is a very expensive game. If you see this, definitely pick it up and give it a go because the controls still hold up. And then one of my favorite games of all time. I think this is probably up there with the most amount of time that I spent on it. It's Rayman 2: The Great Escape. Um, After the success of Rayman 1 on the PlayStation 1, it was like a 2D side-scrolling platformer, which was infamously hard. It was really difficult. I do have it. I don't have it here, but I do own the game too. Never finished it. It was really hard, really frustrating game. But then this one came out. By any means, I didn't play this when it came out. It was like years later. Uh, but we got this one, and it's a 3D platformer, collecticon kind of game, action. Like you can like fight, and you get the little hovering thing. Um, but the story was really good. It was just a really fun game, and I just have so many good memories playing through this game. We got the third one, which was really good too. I never finished that one. But we also had the Rayman M game, which was later renamed like Rayman Battle or something like that, where you could 1v1 in either races or 3D arena fighting game. But this game is just so good. I watched like a couple. I wanted to make a video first myself about like the forgotten Ubisoft game Rayman or something like that, and talking a lot about it. But there's a lot of good YouTube videos that have already done that, and I definitely recommend if you were a fan of Rayman and you've never watched any of the YouTube videos, there's a couple of good ones uh, that are really worth your time. They're really enjoyable. But yeah, Rayman 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. If you've never played it, it definitely play it. It holds up so well. Like you can get it on your Steam Deck, you can emulate it on anything. Uh, Fairly easily. So yeah, I definitely recommend giving this one a shot. And those were 10 games that I just spent a lot of time with. Are there any games that you really liked on this list? What's the game that you played a lot of? Like, let me know down below. And I'm probably going to do this list again with some of the other consoles. I'm going to do this with PlayStation 2, PSP, PS3. I want to try and get over to my parents' house and get the SNES games that I used to play a lot. But they're his, they're not mine. So I just want to borrow them once again. But I won't be able to record footage because our SNES broke a couple of years ago. So yeah, let me know down below which of these games do you really like. Is there any game that you've liked? They're not the most popular or most talked about game other than maybe Spyro. Um, so yeah, I that's kind of why I wanted to do this video because I didn't necessarily play the top 10 PlayStation 1 games that you see in every video. I did probably play most of them, but these are the ones that I played for quite a while. So yeah. Anyway, that was it. I'm gonna stop rambling now. Thank you for watching once again. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and all that kind of stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.